to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the great state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Consideration of the agenda for the May 21st agenda.
Asked to remove those items first.
Oh, yeah, but
Need a
we're
motion
doing,
to remove items
yeah.
5 and 13.
okay. All right. So we need to remove 5 and 13. Can I get
I make a motion.
a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
First, we have Stephanie Du Bois.
I'll make it fast. I'll make my 3 minutes. As many of you know, I'm not associated with the Red Brick Schools Board and fundraising, but I do want to say how much I love living in Tularosa, because it's not just a village, it's a family. I know when people are born, and I know when they die. So, but it's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise children. And as I said, I love living here. I've been here 35 years and I'm not going anywhere. The other thing is, and it might be my fault, I have not been invited to planning and zoning. I may have not given Mr. Rupp my new phone number. So if I didn't, that's my fault.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
But
so much.
you are
And
still a part of it.
Okay, and I appreciate the board and all you do for the village.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joan Price.
Thank you. Each of you got a poster for the upcoming conference for Jornada Research Institute on archaeoastronomy. And the picture is the moon over Round Mountain. And every 18.6 years, the moon sets over Round Mountain for about 9 months at a time. So this is totally unusual. And the conference coming up is going to feature speakers from all over the world on archaeoastronomical events. So we have been, Jornada Research Institute has been doing these conferences. We started in Tularosa. We are based in Tularosa. And I thought, well, shoot, you guys know about the duck race. You hear all about that. You hear about Halloween. You get the luminarias. But I don't know if you realize that we've been putting these conferences on. And each time we compile the speakers' papers, these are professional academic papers, into a volume. And then that's available. Well, we got our recent volume out yesterday, so this is the new volume. So this will take place July 10th, 11th, and 12th. No, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And we'll bring out our new volume, and I am in it, and I'm just going to brag a little bit about, I worked for many years on a paper called Money Runs Uphill, which is the history of Tularosa, up until 1911 statehood, and it deals a lot about how our acequia system came into being. So it's the roots of the acequia system that binds us all together. So I just wanted you to know about the conference. There'll be a full day of events at the Space Hall Museum in Alamogordo, and the rest of it will take place in Ruidoso because we found that we couldn't accommodate all the people that come and the speakers and all that. So it's now in Ruidoso, but we continue. We have a website and we have a Facebook page. And so I encourage you all to come and buy this volume because that's how we pay for these volumes and look at the new history of Tularosa. It's a different point of view. So thank you. And I have a few more posters if people in the audience want them.
Thank you, John.
Joanne Volo.
Hello, Mayor and the Trustees Board. Otero County LULAC 8105, and the reason I say the numbers because there are two. We are sponsoring a cultural summer program for the kids. It was endorsed by the school board, and it'll be every Thursday until school starts in front of the superintendent's in the grass area. And we'll be teaching kids about the different cultures from the games. We're going to have cornhole, badminton, bocce ball, what did I say, badminton? I said that one, croquet, horseshoes, we have ring toss, and then we bought a bunch of balloons to have water games, and bought a bunch of squirt guns today, because I think it might be a little hot. But it's from 10 to 12 every Thursday, and then we're hoping they'll go have lunch too. So anyway, hope everybody will tell their little ones to come out, ages 5 and up, and middle school to high school.
Can you give the dates one more time?
Oh, it'll be every Thursday, starting tomorrow, every Thursday till school starts.
Do you have any flyers?
I'm left it at home, I apologize. Well,
I
you can
seen
have
it on
this.
Facebook and I saved it, so I'll share it to the
Okay,
Facebook
I just
page.
thought maybe if you wanted to put it out there at the front where the
Yeah, I'll
water
print one
department
out
is.
for you guys.
Oh, I did put one over there, but there wasn't a lot of room, and I put it in the corner. And also, Manny was gonna put it on the marquee.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's it for public comments.
Okay. Now we have, number 3 is Nan Winters, which is a village attorney, wants to give a presentation, and she's gonna give a presentation via
Via Zoom.
via Zoom.
Oh, no, Teams, sorry.
Teams. Good morning, good afternoon, Nan.
Good afternoon. Mayor, counselors, my name's Ann Winter. I'm with Stelzner, Winter, Warburton, Flores, and Dawes. We are your general counsel assigned by New Mexico Self-Insurers Fund. I did distribute a PowerPoint presentation to the mayor and Rebecca yesterday, and I wasn't sure if you got a copy of that.
I didn't print them. I thought she was just gonna present
Oh,
it.
okay. No, I didn't make a copy, and I think we're kind of, didn't know we were gonna make a copy.
I thought
but-
you were just gonna
Okay.
present it on the.
Yeah.
Okay, if somebody can allow me to share my screen, I can put it up on my screen.
Sure.
But I think I need, your permission to do that.
Yeah, I
think
think he's working on it.
Yeah, he's working on
Okay.
it. There you go.
Can you try sharing?
Okay, let me find that. I don't see a function for that. Oh, here we go. Let's go. Okay, sure. Trying here. Working on it. All right, I think we're there, right?
Yes, ma'am?
Yes, we are.
I'm very proud of myself for doing that, I have to tell you.
Can everybody see it when the lights on or off?
Sure, they could see.
Can you do that?
All right. So again, I am general counsel assigned to Tularosa by the New Mexico Self-Insurers Fund. I've been working pretty regular with Mayor and Rebecca on different issues for y'all. Nothing earth shattering, just an ordinance amendment here and there and a little bit of counsel and advice. We're also representing Tularosa on some litigation with the Ditch Corporation. tonight I wanted to present to you just training concerning mayor and council duties. And I first want to talk about the types of municipalities in New Mexico. And there are roughly 4 different types of municipalities in New Mexico. We represent all of them. Stelzner, Winter, Warburton, Flores, and Dawes has been doing local government work for over 30 years. We represent commissions, councils, mayor council with managers, and home rule cities. But I just kind of want to give you a flavor for what's out there and where you fit in the grand scheme of things. So you are a commission, I'm sorry, you guys are a mayor council form of government, but there's also commission manager forms of government, and I call those a strong manager form of government. Folks that we represent that are strong manager forms of government are Aztec and Edgewood. I think there's only about 6 in this category, but those are strong manager forms of government. There's also the mayor council form of government, which I call the strong mayor form of government. We represent a couple of folks in these strong mayor forms of governments. Carrizozo, we don't represent Carrizozo, but we do represent Tularosa and Ruidoso Downs. And the vast majority of smaller New Mexico towns are actually mayor council forms of government. Again, strong mayor, and I'll get to that in a minute. What does that mean? There's also a mayor council with manager, which again is a strong manager form of government. Folks down, municipals down in your part of the state that have this type of government are Carlsbad and Ruidoso. And then there's home rule. Those are usually the bigger cities in New Mexico. They've opted to establish their own charter. And that gives them incredible leeway in terms of making their own rules, their own ordinances and procurement. Those home rule towns, you've heard of them: Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Clovis, Las Cruces. These home rule towns usually have a strong manager or an administrator. So in other words, the governing body sits as the legislative policymaker and then directs the manager or administrator to carry out the duties and laws enacted by the governing body. Is there any questions on the types of municipalities?
Council manager.
No.
Okay. Okay, so all municipalities are political subdivisions of the state of New Mexico. Did I lose my share screen?
Yes.
Oh, man. How did that happen? There we go. Sorry about that. Political subdivisions of the state of New Mexico. No matter what kind of municipality you are, you're a political subdivision of the state of New Mexico. And in that regard, you have to comply with Open Meetings Act, the State Procurement Code, the Inspection of Public Records Act, and the Governmental Conduct Act. I have done training on all of those, and I do it pretty regular, especially as, commissions cycle. Commissions and councils cycle through the election process. All right, so let's get to the duties of the governing body, and we're going to concentrate specifically on the mayor council form of government. Your ordinances speak to this in a very, very limited way. The only thing I could find in your ordinances was section 30.01, which says duties of mayor and trustees. The mayor and the trustees shall perform the duties and obligations prescribed by state law. That's all it says. That's all your ordinances say about this. So what you're going to see is that every slide from this point forward is going to address state law. And state law, section 3-12-2, speaks to the governing body, which is the corporate authority, the legislative body for this village of Tularosa. Sometimes you guys are councils and sometimes you guys are boards of trustees. In this case, I think you're a council, correct, Mayor?
Board of Trustees.
You are a board of trustees. All right. Either way, the law is the same. A lot of mayor council forms of government are really just councils. I am aware of at least one other board of trustee, and that is Village of Los Ranchos, New Mexico. The corporate authority of a municipality is vested in the governing body that shall constitute the legislative branch of the municipality and shall not perform any executive functions except those functions assigned to it by law. So there's two words here that are important. One is legislative branch, and the other is executive functions. So as we'll see in later statutory provisions that I'm going to show you, the legislative branch is the branch that votes. The executive function is the function that implements the legislative or the laws. In your case, because you are a strong mayor form of government, it is the executive, the mayor, that then is charged with implementation of the legislative enactments by the governing body. The other corporate authority granted under state statute is that unless otherwise provided by law, a question before the governing body shall be decided by a majority vote of the members present. You guys got that down, right?
Yes.
32-12-2 states that a majority of the members of the governing body is a quorum for the purposes of transacting business. You all got that down too. You know that one's easy. And then last, the governing body of a municipality having a mayor council form of government is the council or the board of trustees whose members are the mayor and not less than 4 or more than 10 councilmen or trustees. So you guys fit into the 4, although there are some councils that have up to 10 councilmen or trustees. Any questions so far?
No. We're good.
Okay, so a little bit more on the governing body powers and duties. Again, I think this is easy for you. You've done this 100 times, thousands of times. The governing body, having a mayor council form of government, shall elect one of its members as mayor pro tem. I think you've already done that. You possess all the powers granted by law. You get to manage and control the finances. And what that means is you pass a budget. You are also charged with anytime you sell real property or personal belongings of the municipality, the mayor cannot act alone. The legislative body, the board of trustees, has to approve the budget and any sale or transaction in real estate in an open meeting. You get to determine the time and place of when you hold your meetings. You get to determine the rules of your own proceedings. I did not find any rules in your ordinances on your proceedings. A lot of municipalities will do their own rules, but usually do it by resolution, not by ordinance. I didn't see any resolutions on your proceedings on your webpage. They might, I'm sure they do exist, or you might have them. Some folks don't have any. Some have pages and pages and pages of how they determine their own proceedings, dealing with conflict of interest and ex parte communications and who can make a motion and when. That's up to you. It's something, again, you may have already done. Of course, by law, you have to keep minutes of your proceedings. You get to prescribe the compensation and fees paid to municipal officers and employees. That's part of the budget cycle process. And of course, you get to prescribe the powers and duties of those officers whose terms of office or powers and duties are not defined by law. Generally speaking, the officers of a municipality are the clerk, the chief, police chief, and sometimes the attorney. Okay, sometimes legal counsel. So let's get to mayor's duties. I think I just showed you 2 pages on board of trustees and or city council duties. The mayor's duties go on and on and on, and we're just going to go through about half a dozen of them. So the mayor of a municipality is the presiding officer of the governing body. In all municipalities, the mayor shall vote only when there is a tie vote. So I assume that's the case here. Mayor, you only vote if there's a tie?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you are a strong mayor form of government. Section 3-11-4 of the New Mexico statute says the mayor is the chief executive officer. And this is why I pointed out to you recently, just a few slides ago, that one part, 4 of you are enacting legislation and 1 of you is the executive. State law prescribes that the mayor is the chief executive officer and shall enforce the ordinances and regulations of the municipality. So in other words, 4 of you pass the ordinances, the mayor is charged with carrying out those ordinances and regulations. She is also charged to exercise within the municipality the authority to indirectly, through the use of police personnel, to suppress disorders and keep the peace. That particular section 311-4B, that was just amended effective yesterday in the last legislative session. It said something sort of similar, but I think the legislature through the New Mexico Municipal League beefed this up a little bit. They wanted to make sure that the mayor has authority to use police personnel to suppress disorders. So that's new language, but similar to what was in existence before yesterday. The last duty on 311-4 is that the mayor shall perform other duties compatible with her office that the governing body may require, provided it's legal. So there's more mayor duties, 311-6 of the New Mexico statutes. This is regarding the mayor, her authority to appoint and supervise and discharge employees. And I'll give it to you in my summary of this. All these words is the mayor is the chief personnel officer. So A provides that subject to the approval of a majority of all members of the governing body, the mayor shall appoint all officers and employees except those holding elected office. So that would be, she can't appoint somebody who's holding a municipal elected office. I'm trying to think if there is one down your way, but I'm not sure that there is. She is also authorized to designate an employee to perform any service authorized by the governing body. The mayor has the authority to appoint temporary employees. And we're going to get to what that means in just a minute. But temporary employees are entitled to the usual and ordinary and reasonable compensation that any other employee gets. So here's another change that was effective as of yesterday. Section 311-6C, the word only was inserted by the legislature as effective as of yesterday. And this was at the request of the New Mexico Municipal League. Only the mayor shall supervise the employees of the municipality, examine the grounds of any reasonable complaint against an employee, and cause any violations or neglect of an employee's duties to be corrected. Putting this in the opposite direction, that means nobody on the board can direct an employee to do X, Y, or Z. Only the mayor can supervise employees here. Now, there is a bit of a caveat, and I'll get to that in a moment. Any questions on this so far?
I don't have any. Anybody else have it?
No.
So my sense of it is that there's been a couple issues in different jurisdictions, none that I've heard about in Tularosa, but I know working in Ruidoso Downs, there's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of drama in some municipalities up north. And so the New Mexico Municipal League went to the legislature and is doing a little bit of cleanup in the municipal code. They amended 5 or 6 statutes in the last legislative session, mostly to clean up these minor skirmishes going on in other jurisdictions. So when I see that language change, I'm making a note of it just so that you know that not everybody all over the state is behaving. And the Municipal League is kind of paying attention and trying to fix some of these things. There is I want to make a comment about something here in 311-6. At the organizational meeting, and what I mean by organizational meeting of this body, after every 2-year election cycle, you should have a first meeting of this governing body. And at that governing body meeting, after the next election cycle, The mayor, by state statute, is required to seek this board's approval and identify all employees, right? And I assume you do that every 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. So something that the municipal league did change, as a result of that statute, was, adding language into the municipal code that if for whatever reason, the mayor puts forward her list or does not put forward her list, or puts forward her list and this governing body does not approve an employee or her appointment, that is not grounds for removal of the mayor. And some of you that might be following some of the drama in Ruidoso Downs probably might be aware that that change in law was a direct result of what's happening, or what had happened in Ruidoso Downs. So in Ruidoso Downs, the mayor would not, or the mayor kept the appointment of a clerk despite the fact that the council did not approve the clerk's appointment. The legislative body, then the board, the city council, then sued the mayor, attempting to claim that he was, not holding up his duties. That lawsuit was dismissed voluntarily by the governing body, but the New Mexico Municipal League found it necessary to amend the statute to say that even though the mayor has all this control and authority over employees, even though it's her job to seek your approval, if you don't grant your approval, you nevertheless cannot sue her for malfeasance in office. So that's my long story on that. So there's a few other additional powers of the mayor. Subject to the limitation of a merit system ordinance, employees may be discharged by the mayor or governing body by a majority vote. So I'm assuming you all have a personnel code or an employee handbook.
We do.
Keep in mind that those are contracts, right? That's a contract that you have made with your employees. So you have promised them employment at a certain level for a certain period of time at a certain rate of pay. And if, one of them gets sideways with the legislative or governing body, it would take a majority vote of the governing body to discharge that employee. And then one of the easiest additional powers of the mayor, which is she signs all commissions, licenses, permits, and other acts of law and ordinances. So pretty much every contract that comes through Tularosa, Mayor, I assume you're signing, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're signing ordinances, licenses, permits, all those good things. Just, I imagine you're signing something every day.
Pretty much.
Okay. So that's all I have, and I will stand for questions on the presentation, and I'll leave it up for a minute if you want to go back to a slide.
Does anybody have any questions? Anybody questions? No?
No.
No. And I think we're good.
Okay, and then if you have any questions on, we can do a training again, say in another 3 months if you want to, or sooner. If you have questions on the Open Meetings Act or the Inspection of Public Records Act or the Governmental Conduct Act, procurement code questions, we could certainly do a little training on all of those good things. I think there's been some, recent legislative changes in that arena as well, but we stand ready to serve you in any way you need help on.
Okay, thank you very much, Nan. Thank you for the presentation.
Okay,
It
let
lets
me
us
know if
know
you have
what-
questions, and
what our jobs are. So,
you got my contact information, and feel free to reach out.
okay, Nan, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Okay, you okay with me leaving the meeting at this point?
Yes, we are. Go enjoy your
Okay.
evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we don't have to vote on that.
No.
Number 4, Rebecca Bryant, Village Clerk, is asking for approval of Resolution 2024-2025-17, adopting the fiscal year 2026 per diem rates.
You guys have this paper in front of you.
Yeah.
We have to adopt our per diem rates every year. They go up a little bit. we will be adopting the 2026. And you could see at the last part what the rates have gone up from 2025. Meals will go from 59 to 70. Overnight travel is 180 from 166. And 215 night for lodging. So that's it. We just have to approve that every year.
Make a motion to
So,
approve.
Mandated by the DFA.
You make a motion, Pat.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Roll call, Bruce Willis,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Garwood,
Aye.
Science.
Aye.
Thank you.
We left out number 5, we deleted number 5, so we'll move on to number 6. Chris Rupp, Planning and Zoning is asking for approval for a building permit for William Smith at 808 Clayton Lane.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Tonight we come before you guys on a building permit for William Smith at 808 Clayton Lane. This was actually brought to our attention by our code enforcement officer at the time, questioning about a permit at the time. We did some research into this matter. The fact that the building was almost completed after this was actually attached, that's why we're here now and not during an actual board meeting here. So it's kind of like after the fact that we're trying to get a permit. Planning and Zoning did go out there, review the building. It is within specs. It is within far enough distance from the property lines. And it's going to be an all right building. There's no issue. It's going to be a steel building out there for their little garage that they're building. With that being said, the homeowner did come forward once he was advised that he needed a plan after his contractor said he didn't need to get one with the village. So he was highly motivated to come down and get his own permit. And he was very apologetic for not doing his own diligence on that. And again, we worked out through the process here. After that being said, our recommendation would be go ahead and approve the building permit for him.
Who was his contractor?
I can't remember his name right off the hand. I've had so many names today. Yeah.
808 Clayton Lane, okay, I know that's exactly it. I have no question.
Anybody else have any questions about it? You guys have any questions about it? No?
So what, in a nutshell, what you're asking for us to approve is a building permit for after the fact?
Yes, sir. At least we're getting that building permit. Better late than never.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passed. Yvonne Gutierrez and Chris Rupp of the Kiwanis Club are asking for approval for the December 6, 2025 Christmas Light Parade for highway closure and for assistance for Public Works, Police Department, and Fire Department.
Switch hats real quick for you guys. Again, Mayor, members of the board. We're coming here before you tonight as a member of the Kiwanis Club. Last year was our first year of doing our light festival, and it was a learning experience for all of us. And overall it turned out very well, but we learned some good lessons, and this year we're trying to improve it. The Kiwanis Club has picked a date of December 6th. It's going to be the first Saturday in December. That is going to be our annual date that we're going to be picking, whether it's the 6th, but it's just going to be the first Saturday. That way we can make it pretty standard here we don't have problems in the future with dates. With that being said, that requires us to get a lot of permits and so on and so forth as we did last year. Part of that process is to go ahead and get approval from the village, which again, we need a village letter from Rebecca, which she did last year for us, for our state highway permit. Along with that, we'll have to get with the police department and also have them sign us a letter stating that they're okay with us shutting down the highway and also helping us with traffic control as well. And that's part of that whole department there. But again, we're also asking for the police department to help us with crowd control, not sorry, crowd control, with going ahead and blocking off some of the roads that we need to, such as they did last year. We're going to ask for Public Works to come out and participate like they did last year as well. And again, the fire department. All of them were very important parts, key components of this parade that we did, and it made it the success that it did. With that also being said, I'm just going to pass out just one real quick here to pass around for you guys. This is a flyer from the Tularosa Kiwanis Club. Part of our whole deal is to bring the community together, especially in the holidays, but also showcase what we have here in Tularosa. And as such, we're doing a art contest that we'd love to have people from our community go ahead and participate. And what this is we're asking them to draw a Christmas-themed drawing on an 8x11 piece of paper. That paper will be submitted to the police department because they are open 24/7, and our chief is working with that to make sure we get the best of the best here from our community and get everybody involved as we can. The top 3 winners will get their image transposed over to a banner, which we'll be working on to go ahead and put up the 3 main entrances of our village. So it'll be like a nice little reward for their effort for what they're doing. Again, this is open to all ages. It's not restricted other than it has to be Christmas themed. And we're looking for a good participation from our community to help make this event better. We decided not to go ahead and do the Christmas Bazaar nor the dance this year. Again, even though it was somewhat of a success last year, it just became overwhelming. And with some of the other events, we'd rather kind of focus on the parade, which again was very successful, and we had quite a bit of compliments comparing us to Alamogordo's parades. So with that, not only do I ask for the assistance from the village and the blessing, I'm going to throw out the challenge card right now again to Rebecca and her crew to top the float that they did last year for the parade. It was amazing. We had some really good participants, some really good floats, and I think we're just going to build off it better this year. But again, we need it to do it as a community, and again, that's why we're asking for your blessing and your assistance.
And the theme?
Oh, the theme this year is going to be
Polar Express.
Polar Express. Thank you. I was thinking train. So Polar Express is the theme for this year.
On this art contest that you have promoting for kids of all ages, is there a theme that's going to go with that art contest? What do they draw?
Just a
Christmas?
Christmas theme. Yes, we're not
Summer, whatever?
Whatever they want to do, so long as it's a Christmas theme, that's all we're asking, because this is going to be a one-time thing for our banners until the banners rip, and then we might have another art competition at that time. But again, the way we're planning it is to keep using those banners over and over for our events in order to help reduce the.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a Christmas setting. It can be any kind of setting then.
Yeah, Christmas theme setting, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Chris, I was really impressed with the parade last year. I think everybody that I talked to was really overwhelmed. I think I did a fantastic job. Is it State Highway Department going to approve of it again this year?
Well, again, we don't know, because even though we have to talk to our district down here, our permit actually goes to Roswell. They have to approve it. Part of that application is having these letters. We also have to have our event insurance, which again, the village will be on there as an additional interest. But we also have to have the parade route. We have to have that all diagram. We have to have alternative routes done prior to that going. So this is kind of like, I want to say putting the cart in front of the horse before I can actually say that, but it's just part of the process. And it does take a while, because you have to mail everything to Roswell, And just, it's a back and forth. It took me 2 weeks to get a letter back from them last year, just to say, change
I
something.
just hope that they do approve it because it's phenomenal. First year, and it was, I don't know if you can do any better, but I imagine you're gonna give it a shot.
Well, thank you. And again, we're gonna try using the same route, because we're using that same route and not turning up on Granada Street. It was because the use of the light there, DOT really liked that area because it was able for us to go ahead and secure that intersection on that highway versus having down a little bit further where everybody could start using those side roads and possibly cause more of an accident. So again, we're gonna keep everything the same as our parade, same lineup time. Again, we're just wanting everybody to come out and participate again. It was great to see the people that did show up and participate. We had some great crowds. The Kiwanis Club is looking at doing a little hot chocolate booth out here this front and try raising some money for our kids here as well, so.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Number 8, Kathy Tyler and Tina Cordova, but I guess Tina's not here, so it's be Kathy and whoever she brings, are asking to use the Veterans Park on July 16th, 2025 at 7 p.m. for the annual Downwinders Memorial. This year, we're going to change it from the baseball park to the Veterans Park. Get to the speaker, because they can't hear you. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay. Haven't used a microphone in ages. Okay, so this year we're moving the Luminaria event to the park, the Veterans Park. But the events that day, because this is the 80 years since the Trinity blast went off. And we're still asking for compensation. But it'll start that day at the Stallion Gate with the blessing of a new sign and the bishop being there. We're going to have a mass here at the Tularosa Catholic Church at 7 and a potluck. And then we're going to go to the Veterans Park, all the people that are there and others. And the Luminarias will be on the park lawn, on the grass. So
kind of how that they've set it up is what we're looking at did she contact them about getting the stands? We talked about the stands. We're getting, the stands that we use for the Veterans Day. We're gonna put them in a little different place. They're gonna use the whole grass area for the luminarias. And then the speakers will be up there where they do for the Veterans Day up there. But Tina said, and I'm just iterating what Tina and I talked about, since it is the 80th, and this probably, I think she told me this is probably the last time we can get it on the floor. Is that correct? Am I assuming something that because she said something about this could be the last time that we could get it on the floor. We're trying to make it as a big event as we can, guys. We're trying to invite senators, representatives, people from all over so that people know what we have gone through. A lot of people, especially, people in Alamogordo, people around, they don't understand this and they don't realize that we were the first. Everybody else has gotten compensation except for New Mexico. So Tina wants to bring this out. How much, anybody can come. It's gonna be a great, time. So I'd encourage everybody to come out to it. You'll hear all the names are gonna be said of the people that have passed with cancer in Tularosa and the surrounding areas. When you come and you look at all of those lights and all those bags out there, you're gonna be astounded at how many people we have lost in this area. It's just absolutely, it's astounding to see it. So I would encourage everybody to come. It is on a Wednesday night. It's July 16th. We're gonna have mass. They're gonna have a dinner afterwards. Then we're gonna go over to the park and we're gonna light the candles for all the people that have passed due to cancer in the Tularosa surrounding area. So I encourage everybody to go. Because even if you don't have a loved one, when you sit out there, you're gonna go, it just does that to you. You know, it really does.
Reminds you of people when you hear their name called.
Right, and it's a great event. Are you with Kathy?
I'm friends with them.
Well, I need, yeah,
Yes.
okay,
I wanted
okay,
have that copy.
thank you. Thank you, Kathy, I appreciate it. We're trying to get all the, I've asked Ralph to put all the flags around. I'm hoping we can get a fire truck that will boom a flag down so that when we drive at the Veterans Park, we'll be driving underneath the big flag. I don't know if I can. We've talked, you know, our ladder truck doesn't work, but I'm asking them to reach out to other places that have ladder trucks so that we can make this a really nice presentation, make it memorable, so we can get ourselves on the floor of that Senate.
Been on the floor of the House of the Senate, and it passed, and Biden passed it. But
Mike
in
Johnson.
the, Mike Johnson on the House of Representatives, he wouldn't bring it up to vote.
Right, right, and
So-
we need those Republican representatives to know what's going on, and I've invited all of them to this.
Thank you.
Because they need to know. I mentioned this to one of them, and I'm not gonna mention his name because he's real, I mean, he is representing our area, but he's not, I mean, he hasn't really been around that long to know what this is. And when I started talking to him about it, I don't know, I think, Adolph was there at that meeting when we had with, Mr. Vasquez, and I think it was Mrs. Gilliland, am I correct? Her family. There was like 29 people out of that family that had all died. There's only a couple of them left. That's because their farm was really close to that, you
10
know.
miles, 10 miles.
And, you know, and I was sitting here thinking about this in my own family, you know, Ron's family. He had cancer, his sister had cancer, his dad has cancer, his mom had cancer. You know, so out of the 5 of them, 4 of them had cancer. Now, luckily, his mom and dad did not die exactly from cancer. Mother died from complications, his dad did not, he had heart problems. But his sister and Ron both, they died from cancer. So, you know, this affects every one of us here. And we really, really need to support it because we need these people that have put out so much money and have used everything they can to fight this horrible disease.
And it's not some people think we're being unpatriotic because we're asking for that compensation, but we aren't being unpatriotic. You know, it happened, it helped pass World War II, but we need to be compensated.
Everybody else has,
Yes,
you know, everybody else has.
yes, they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. So can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Number 9, Thomas Estrada, individual is asking to return to his property at 400 Bosque with his RV while he remodels his tiny home. Okay. Hello, how are you guys?
Doing great, thank you. Yes, I don't know how to abide by this, that's why I'm up here asking,
Okay,
you know,
So
what
are
it is
you-
that I need to do.
yeah. Do you have plans already?
I don't have the plans backed out yet, but I figured I'd ask before my plans start going up
Okay.
and then presenting it to you all.
I'm kind of in conflict, to tell you the truth, because we've never talked about a tiny house in the 4,900 blocks.
Well, that's what I was told when I came in, it's either a tiny home or a double wide. Couldn't put a single wide in
No,
there.
you can't do a single wide in the 4,900 blocks.
So that's what we had spoken prior to that, that it'd be a tiny home or a double wide. and that's what I'm
A
asking
double
about.
wide, I know that they've approved. I don't know about a tiny home. Do you, Rebecca? Is there-
There's nothing in the ordinance about tiny
Yeah,
homes.
nothing in
Those are
there.
kind of like brand new, so nothing in our ordinance
Yeah,
says
there's
anything about
nothing
that.
been. How big of a tiny
It's gonna
home?
be a 12 by 40. 12
Permanent,
wide by 40-foot long,
permanent foundation.
and on a foundation.
Yeah, it has to be on a permanent
Yeah,
foundation.
it's not gonna be, actually, it doesn't have axles.
Yeah,
It's gonna be sitting down
I
on the
know,
ground.
but there are some that are made with skids
Yes,
and they can pick those up and move them. And
Yeah.
that's what they don't want. They want something that's on a permanent foundation. I know that. I don't think we have any ordinances controlling how big a house you can have. If you wanna, the lot has to be, how big?
6,000 square feet.
6,000 square feet. Is the lot that big? It had a house on it before. It
Yeah, I
should,
think so.
it's,
I have no idea.
it's pretty much. Did Chris leave?
Chris Rupp.
There was a house on that
Yeah,
property
there was a
before.
big house. There was
Yeah,
a
there's
pretty
been a house on that property and a single wides.
Yes, there
on
was
that
a single
property.
wide trailer.
I remember that.
So
That's
you
the
know,
way-
I mean, right now, there's no ordinances for us to say you can't put a tiny house on or off there, but it does have to have a permanent foundation. That's the
Yeah.
one thing I can say. I,
Sit it down where it won't
I
be
know
moved.
there's nothing in the ordinances. Do you guys have anything to say about that? I mean, I could buy a piece of property if I wanted to build a little tiny house myself. I can.
Yeah.
I just have to have a permanent foundation. So I don't see any problem with that, but before you move your trailer on, I would get with Mr. Rupp with your plans, okay? And how long it's gonna take, what you're gonna do. Mr. Rupp is the zoning. He's him and Stephanie and them
And
are all.
who's Mr. Rupp?
He just left. The guy that was up here talking. But I will
okay,
give you his
yes.
phone number, okay?
Okay,
But before you move your trailer back on, you're gonna have to have it approved by him, your tiny house, your plans and everything for that.
okay,
But-
where do I find this?
Mr.
Where-
Rupp?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
you'll
give
set
you
me
his-
up?
No,
You'll-
I'll give you a phone number.
You'll need to come to the village office first and fill out a building site permit with all your plans and exactly what you're gonna do. Then it will go to Mr. Rupp from Planning and Zoning, and he'll cross-reference everything that you have and make sure all the specs are good to go.
Yeah. You'll come to the office first, and then you'll get your building permit, and then she's right. Then, and they have his information and everything. And then he'll look at it and he'll say it's okay. And then, once that is approved, until you get your tiny home on there, until it's built, do you guys have a problem with them living in their home?
So when is this,
Sep-
It made
gonna be
provisions
effect-
for other people in the village, so in all fairness, I would agree that he
I
could.
agree, I agree. I mean,
yeah, cause I
They're-
mean,
they're
there is still people living in RVs in the 49 block. I was just curious,
we're in the process of taking care of that.
care of that. Okay.
It's up to the board what they want to do.
Tomas, make sure you have the utilities, okay?
What's that again?
Utilities, make sure that you have that hooked up.
Oh, when I bring my trailer in, it's hooked up to city
Okay.
or where I got sewer, water, and light. No generator,
Good.
no holding tank, no nothing.
Okay.
Up to you guys.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second it.
So as soon as you get the house built, you'll live in the house, you'll store the trailer there, right? You won't be living in both, right?
Oh, no. No,
That's
I'm
fine.
fixing to sell that as soon as I get that up.
I don't,
I do need to live in it while I'm building.
okay, that was my last question. Okay, I got a second on there?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Make sure you get with the village first to get your permit, and she'll get you with Chris Rupp, and he'll set it up, and then you'll have to come to a zoning board meeting for them to pass it and okay it, and then once it's done, then you can start, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Sandra Sheeran, individual is asking for a waiver to keep her RV at her property at 1405 West Fifth Street. So, we do, you don't have to do this, let me explain to you, okay? What we're doing right now is we're putting in some ordinances, we're not gonna make you move it right now. We're putting in new ordinances, okay? and when the ordinances get in, they'll come and tell you what you have to do to stay. But we're not, there's gonna be a series of, like, you'll have to have, you know, he'll inspect your trailer to make sure the trailer's good. There'll be a plumbing inspection, electrical inspection. If all of those pass, then your trailer's okay.
Okay, that was all I was going
Okay.
to say, is
Well,
that
that's-
when I moved it there, I had an electrician come in and put its own electric, you know, upgrade the electric to the pole. And it was for my grandson, so he wouldn't be, and it was anyway, you don't want to hear any more from me right now?
No, not till, our ordinances, we've got to vote on it and everything else, and right now, there's just, we're allowing all trailers to stay until we get the ordinance in.
Okay.
So we're
and-
not
and it
having
is-
anybody move yet.
And it's not in the 49 blocks.
As long as it's not, and let me correct that, we're letting all trailers stay in the area other than the 4900 block and other than commercial zones, okay? Other than that, and that's because the 4900 block people want these rules in place. They have to keep them in place. But other than that, if they're outside the 4900 block and they're outside of commercial, we're just waiting to get the ordinance passed, and then the ordinance guy, he'll come by and he'll let you know.
Would that be Officer Hannigan that will?
Yes, it is.
Because I spoke with him, and he's the one that said I should
I know.
come in here and see what I
Yeah.
could do. And
I
when I
know.
told him how I had set it up, he said, well, maybe you can get a waiver that if it's.
Well, you
but-
won't have to need, we're working on the ordinance, and as
Okay.
soon as we get it updated and passed, he'll be.
So unless I get another notice of violation, we're not gonna get.
That will be on the agenda next month to be passed.
Yes,
or
that is on
So
the agenda.
within the next couple of months, I should know something.
Yes, you will.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Sandy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sandra. Cat Stock Schroeder, individuals asking for permission to hold a children's flea market once a month on Granada Street in the lot next to the business on first and third Sunday of the month to teach the children how to start and run a small business.
Hi, my name's Kathy Stock Trader, and I'm new to this area, and I'd like to try to give something for the kids to learn how to earn their own money and control their own money. And I got with a few business owners in Southwest Sound, Southwest Healing and Sound, offered to allow us to use the lot next to them, and then they've talked to their insurance company, and they were more than happy to allow us to do that. And I just wanted to get permission from the board. What I would like to do, or we would like to do, is offer the children arts and crafts so they have something to have for their wares so they can sell them, and not charge them for a booth, and give them a safe environment where they can have other people come in and maybe bargain with them to teach them the cost of things and et cetera. I'm sorry, I'm really out of it today because I'm a nurse and I've had a very, very long day. But I've talked to a few parents in the area with children, and I have a child that's 13 that is actually trying to do this on his own, and he's doing phenomenal, and it's teaching him responsibility, and there's been a lot of support from the community. So as the children and their parents were coming up to what he's doing, I've spoke with them, and they are very interested in something like this because it would be a controlled environment for them to be able to do this. And I was just looking for permission.
I don't think we have to give permission since they're on a business, the business is giving you permission.
Right.
So you're gonna run under their license, run under everything, run under their property. We don't really have any
Okay.
say-so on
I
that.
just wanted to
That's
make
okay.
sure
I know.
before I contacted
know.
some of these parents, so I didn't have someone coming up and saying, oh, this isn't allowed. So I really appreciate that, and
Sure.
thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? What's the age limit on these, on the age?
As long as they are enrolled in school, then they can come in. And so that, I would imagine, I had a 6-year-old that was making paper airplanes right now. So I know that sounds kind of silly, but it gives them something to do, and there's not a lot to do in this town, and for the smaller children. And so I thought, we'll put it on Facebook and see what happens, and give them the support that they need. I also have talked to several people, and they have donated a lot of art supplies. So if a family wants to do these things, if they contact me, I will set them up with art supplies or whatever they want to do.
Okay, all right. We appreciate your son, really, we do. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
Number 12, Brandon Padilla, individual, is asking to have the dips in his road on West 12 fixed and add a stop sign on the road as well. Hello, how are you?
Trustees, so I was gonna see if you guys would be willing to put some base course or gravel on West 12. We have a whole bunch of dips, and in the past years, it's just gotten worse and worse.
Have you guys been out there?
And
It's like, it's like that's how you drive.
and then the school bus comes down and it's bouncing everywhere, and
And for the school bus, it's, I know if you had dentures, we'd jiggle them out, right?
and then as well as maybe a stop sign what says like a road marking like West 12, because everything else is numbered except ours. but-
Okay, yes. Did Angel talk to you?
Yeah, I
today?
seen him this morning.
We did talk, I did talk to Angel, but you guys, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve this, definitely. Make a motion to approve,
I'll second.
fix the dips in the road and add a stop sign on the road as well.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep,
Hey, Brandon.
thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. No, it is not marked. We need to get that street marked. It's not marked at all. And there's no stop sign, so you just kind of have to guess and stop, so. Old
Thanks,
business-
Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon. Old business? We have any old business? Only from us, old business. No. Oh, no, they took it off the list.
What about that sign?
What's that sign?
Through street. Off the highway.
Oh, you mean Guyver sign? Oh.
This sign right here. Highway on the street.
Oh, first, one way? Yeah, they fixed it already. He has it fixed
Mayor.
on one side. Uh-huh.
Mayor, and I don't know if they were following their old business or new business, but Mr. Chris Rupp was here earlier getting an approval
Uh-huh.
for a permit, and of course, it was after the fact. I'm wondering, through no fault of this individual, maybe he didn't do it intentionally or whatever, but we have a number of individuals that have been doing that after, and we catch them after the fact. Do you think it would be feasible to have some kind of
Penalty for that?
penalty? Yes, because we,
Have to
it's
change your
just,
ordinance.
because I know of several buildings that have gone up, never received a permit, and they built them. And before we got to them, they were finished.
We can bring a workshop up later on to discuss adding a fee to that, you know.
I mean, I'm not saying that this individual did it on the side
I
or
know.
slide, it could very well have passed by, but the other buildings that I have in question that I'll keep to myself, and I think you guys might know anyway, but they knew they'd required a permit, but they did it.
We can add that, but I think we already
I
have
think
it
there's
on there.
already something in the ordinance saying if you don't get a business permit,
And we just
get a
get,
fine.
No,
We'll
but
have to check
they
that out.
get the permit before, because if they do it after and ask for a permit after, then I think
Same thing.
there should be some kind of penalty, yes.
well, we should start assessing the penalty for afterwards. That's what we need to do. Is, the penalty's there. Isn't it already in the
I'm
ordinance?
pretty sure.
I think it's already in the ordinance, and I think it's $1,000 fine, is it not?
I'm not sure if it's
I don't know how
1,000.
much it is, but it's already there. We just need to enforce it. And we're not enforcing it because we're just too nice.
Is there an ordinance like, is it in the ordinance, like say somebody already has a pre-existing porch and they redo
Oh,
it?
yeah, that's already in there. It's, you, if
Do
it's.
they need a permit?
No, they do not
Okay.
need a permit. If you're taking down an old porch and you're just replacing it with a new one, you don't have to have one. If you're replacing a roof, It's more of if you're adding something on to your house, you've got to have a permit.
Shingles don't, yeah.
No.
Roofing a house is
Roofs
not.
do not count. If you've got an existing porch and you want to tear it down and put a new one, you don't need a permit.
Yeah, that was a case of 505. They did have a porch there already.
At 50, the one that we just passed? No, we're talking about the one that's on the side there.
Yeah, I'm just saying 505 was on the agenda.
Yeah, Padilla, the
they-
one that got marked off, that's what
Yeah.
he's talking about.
Okay, all right. Oh, the one that got marked off. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, they did have a porch and they don't need to get a permit. If you've already got a porch there or you're redoing your roof, it's more for when you're adding on. So that's when you have to get the permit. Any other old business?
Yeah, one more question. The one-way sign going on Granada Street, that was supposed to put on the highway side? Do you have that yet?
No, I don't know. I'll have to check with, did he put the one-way sign? Does he have it? I'll check with him, yeah. Yeah, I know he has one sign up, doesn't he, that's red that says wrong way going that way, but I don't know if he has the one-way yet.
Well,
I don't see it.
again, why would we need a one-way sign going down Granada off the
Because
highway?
that is exactly what the DOT told us we needed
Really?
for that, yes.
Because any direction you're coming on the highway, you're gonna turn going one way to the,
I know,
that's what,
yeah. But that's what the DOT told us that we needed, so. Any other old business? Are there any new businesses? Any new business? If not, meeting adjourned.